My name is Jason Oken, and I am a high school teacher at Papa.
I would say one of the most important messages that we're trying to convey in the museum is that the American Revolution and the Revolutionary War are not the same thing. We often use the revolution as a kind of shorthand for the Revolutionary War, and we'll say the revolution was an 8-year war or something like this.
The Revolutionary War was the actual military conflict, and the American Revolution is considered the broader revolution, the pushback by Americans, so the time leading up to the Revolutionary War and the time soon after.
And are there any similarities that you know of?
I mean, yeah. One is the umbrella term that the American Revolution included the Revolutionary War. That's a loaded question, I suppose. Declaration of Independence is let's just call it a pivotal document. It's one of the documents that changed the course of the world, mostly for the better, I believe. But it is a thing that happened hundreds of years ago and still impacts us in our daily lives. And not just us, people around the world. I teach history because it is what I am competent in teaching. I'd probably go to science if I knew any science, but I don't. So I can't do that. History is what I know. It's what I'm interested in. It's what I spend my free time reading about. And I think that we don't always have a great understanding of how we got to where we are and the things that happened before that led us to this moment. So I think that's important.
Now, if you've seen the Declaration of Independence, that beautiful engrossed cursive version in the National Archives, you've noticed that it's signed by dozens of those delegates. There was no single dramatic moment where everyone signed the Declaration. Those signatures came in almost for a year. As those people came and went, they returned, they signed this document that only really in hindsight came to have the importance that we invest in it. When they passed it, they knew it was revolutionary, they knew this was a pivotal decision, but when you read the notes of that Congress, it's in the midst of all sorts of other everyday business. How do we just supply the Army in Boston? George Washington has just been dispatched to become their commander. Are they going to accept a Virginian commanding mostly New England troops? So the Declaration of Independence that emerges from this building, a functional government document, revolutionary in its global impact. You probably also would have heard rumors and news from across all of those colonies of recent events. Gunshots at Lexington and Concord on April 19th, the Battle of Bunker Hill in Boston in June, the siege of the British Army, the King's troops, by some sort of new revolutionary army leading up to those days. What was also happening all over those colonies is local groups of people were declaring and voting for independence. So what happened here, what eventually emerges from this building as the certified Declaration of Independence on July 4th, was based on a grassroots movement. That doesn't mean that everyone agreed. Plenty of people, probably even a majority of Americans, thought that that was a huge mistake. Even someone like John Dickinson, a congressperson from Delaware, is actively advocating, writing, agitating for American liberties before July of 1776, but he absents himself from the vote because he can't actually vote for that final, what someone called leap in the dark towards independence.